Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. Every now and again, I'll be reading, out in the press about, things having to do with Thailand, Thai immigration, and something kind of just tickles me every once in a while. I'll read about something, especially lately. Frankly, I think the overall immigration situation with regard to Thailand is kind of a bit absurd at the moment, frankly. I don't mean to say that negatively. It just is what it is. I think we're in a kind of a weird little wrinkle here, right here in January of 2022, where I am optimistic. I think 2022, we're seriously going to see Thailand start to really seriously reopen. Now, I've said that before, some months and even years ago, but, I am optimistic overall about 2022, especially in light of the fact recent events, this recent strain, whatever you want to call it, is not nearly as lethal. And I think overall, this kind of may be humanity's ticket to kind of putting this past us. But leaving that aside, I found this article, I found it in the Wall Street Journal, WSJ.com. Article's titled, "Want to Quarantine on a Beach? Go to Thailand." Quoting directly, Thailand, one of the few Asian countries currently open to American tourists. And that's a good point. Just as a side note here, I've talked about this, and if you watch our channel, I think I can be viewed a little bit more cynical than I really actually am when I look at the grander scheme of things. I am proud of Thailand for staying open and for trying to create avenues for tourists to come here and for foreign nationals generally to get in and out of Thailand. There's a lot of foreign nationals in Thailand in non-immigrant status as expats, even immigrants, permanent residents, folks that are coming, they're living here primarily, and they need to sort of get in and out. Other places, Vietnam, for example, and even Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, Malaysia was pretty locked down for a fairly prolonged period of time. I'm not overly familiar with Indonesia, but Philippines, it's my understanding most of these places, not easy to get into, if possible at all. Thailand has been much more accommodating or receptive than virtually any jurisdiction I can think of, especially on the Southeast Asian landmass. But quoting further, Thailand, one of the few Asian countries currently open to American tourists, has an unusual entry protocol. Well, you can say that again. The name itself conjures fun and sun, Phuket Sandbox. Quoting further, fully vaccinated visitors are allowed into the country once a few administrative hurdles are cleared, but must first fly to Phuket, Thailand's largest island, or, as of January 11th, to one of 3 other seaside provinces and stay at one of several designated hotels, including luxury resorts. Those hurdles include submitting paperwork for a visa and certificate of entry, showing proof of a negative PCR test, and paying for COVID-19 insurance. A minimum coverage of $50,000 is required. So when I initially read this, and I thought I had the quote in here, but there was they used the term in here, obligatory R&R. And so, and by obligatory, you have to go through Phuket in order to get in and use this. But apparently I've either forgotten to quote it correctly, but it did appear when I was dealing with that before. In any event, yeah, this sort of obligatory R&R does seem to be kind of part and parcel of the sandbox scheme. You're sort of stuck in there until you can get out, basically, until you test and you've gone through the period of time, depending on your vaccination status, possibly 7, maybe 10 days in the Phuket sandbox. So, yeah, it is what it is. It's not perfect, but I will give it credit for being better than other jurisdictions in the region.